Islands. You want to go to the island. The catchy conditioning line used in the film The Island, 2005, making people think there is somewhere better to go and there is a purpose to your being and existence. Replace the island with heaven and I started to see a similarity of repeated conditioning of existence to think after is better than here. And while you are focusing on better there, you perhaps forget or lose sight of trying to make where you are now better. But back to islands for a moment, because it was actually another island that started this thought. It's from another film, but a certain real island, as far as we know, will tie in. Because it's the film Castaway that came to mind, of Wilson and the bloody handprint, which gets linked to a conspiracy. But that particular premise surrounding that ball often gets mentioned as well as the actor. It's the location now that takes my thought. A tropical island, like the one currently linked to a certain news story that rumbles on. The delivery company and packages could also merely be coincidence too, seeing patterns where we want to and all that. But the next thought was cows. I know, seems a leap. But as in the first film mentioned, they were being cloned as replacement body parts, treated well until the point of necessity. Just as people will treat prize cows or bulls, or any animal that is bred for what might be considered a superior purpose, even if that purpose is ultimately food or body parts. That film, My Sister's Keeper, I believe is about a spare child being born to provide body parts for the first sick child. Scale that idea up, I guess, and we end up coming back to a previously discussed idea in, perhaps, of those warehouses for the living dead, where people would be neomorphs, existing as living cadavers, waiting to be needed. Pleasure Island, Pinocchio. I have already mentioned this one too in my article, Being Real, of how it was used to entice children into servitude with promises and temptation of fun and vices. But there is a price to pay, as it would seem there was for anyone who may have been invited to certain islands, where it seemed it was all fun and games with no repercussions or penalty. But afterwards it is used as a weapon to buy your servitude, turning well-known people into donkeys, just as they did in the film to the eager and weak-minded youngsters, except they still looked like people and no one noticed at first. But with strings now attached, having to perform their part, being pulled and played as required, with the direst consequences it turns out.